So why does Brock Purdy need to sit behind Trey Lance? Maybe Trey Lance needs to sit behind Brock Purdy.
Third overall.
Maybe that was the mistake.
When you trade up for a dude, and you put all your chips in his basket, and because if you let him play and he sucks, the organization says, "Yo, Trey Lance was a bust." That's how they look at it, and you move on.
Hey, you. Welcome to Mad Sports. Let's get started. Now, with you, keep in mind the situation is completely different than any other ones that we've seen. Okay?
I know.
Brock Purdy should be the starting quarterback for the Niners with Trey Lance healthy and Jimmy Garoppolo healthy. It's a different situation than Mac Jones. It's a different situation than Dak Prescott. The reason why it's different is because the Cowboys guy is Dak Prescott. New England, Mac Jones was tried and proven his first season. Trey Lance hasn't done anything to show us that he's the guy. And Jimmy G, we know isn't the guy. Like, they don't want him to be the guy. It's like a fight for the starting quarterback spot in San Francisco, and has to do it.
No, I will say
the dude play like perfect football this weekend.
I will say that I do, obviously, again, there does need to be consistency.
Here's the thing. I think the Niners, I've said this, they're the most talented roster in football, I think. They have a great defense, a great coach who's great at scheming, a run game, gets his guys the ball. Here's why I don't think Brock Purdy will be the starter if everyone was healthy. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, because I think Jimmy Garoppolo is very average.
Not if everyone is healthy. Once everyone gets healthy, because they're two different things.
Here's why I don't think they'll do it, though. Because you drafted Trey Lance, number 3. He hasn't really gotten to show you what he can do. I think all of us know he's a bust, right? Or get that vibe that he's not. He hasn't really shown much.
Got to give him 3 years, though.
I'm big on that.
I know.
I
agree. No, I agree. I agree with that.
But my thought is this: the day you say, "All right, we'll have Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick of the draft, start over the 3rd round pick or the number 3 pick," is the day I think you show we don't really know what we're doing.
Okay, so let me ask you this then.
So I think they're going to give Trey Lance another shake.
Yeah, but let me ask you this: what does Brock Purdy do this season to then say, okay, yeah, we're starting him next? Like, we have to
win a Super Bowl.
That's it. Not even get there. Like, if he gets to the Super Bowl, if he wins 2 playoff games,
got there a couple years ago, and it didn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, it mattered, but
no, I know, but it didn't.
But
they went and drafted Trey Lance.
His play, yeah.
But we're talking about Jimmy G versus Mr.
And Jimmy G had a lot more. You had a lot more of a sample size with Jimmy G than he did.
He was a backup to Tom Brady for a long time. Like, this kid is a rookie.
So you think if the Niners rode their defense, let's say, all the way to the Super Bowl?
Well, I'm not saying it depends on his. It depends on his performance, right? Because if he goes out,
he plays solid.
If he plays solid,
he's not
can I say what I think?
300 yards and 3 touchdowns.
But he did though, and I get what you're saying about
180 yards.
No, but I get what you're saying about the whole team. But did you watch the game?
Yeah.
I mean, the dude was throwing dimes. Like, he was he wasn't doing
80 yards.
I know.
So here's what.
But I'm saying the throws that he was making, the decisions he was making, all of that, it was just good.
The pressure. I mean, that was a ton of play. I know I don't like it when Brady against Purdy, because it's they're not playing against each other. However, regardless of the fact that the QBs don't play against each other on the field, that still is a lot of pressure for somebody like a rookie in his first start.
And
Tom Brady has never lost to a rookie when they're on their first start, right?
He said he was like, I just have to keep going because
you know that he's going to come
Tom Brady.
back.
He could come back without any problem at all. Just to understand those things and I don't know, but
I just don't buy too much into the head-to-head stuff because people will say the same thing. Oh,
I agree, but the
Joe
pressure
Burrow
is
beat
still
Mahomes. Okay,
but there's still pressure on Purdy.
Awesome. Pat Mahomes is awesome.
Yeah,
but you still know that Purdy was feeling that pressure.
Would love to throw to T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. I'm sure that would be awesome.
But I'm saying,
I'm not. It's not.
Here,
taking
let me.
It's not
It's
taking
tough.
anything
Like
away from Purdy.
what?
But
Just the question is, I get.
you don't draft a guy number 3 and not give him a true chance to like be that guy.
So
at number 3.
Okay, so then do the Jets go back to Zach Wilson next season?
I think he's had it. Like he's played way more than Trey Lance.
Yeah,
And I
but
will
he got
tell you,
hurt last
I bet
season,
you-
right?
I bet you they will. If you draft a guy to be the franchise guy, you got to see that through. Trubisky, the Bears saw it through. It didn't work.
it'll be interesting because when you think I'm not comparing Purdy and Brady. The reason I'm bringing that up is because I think it'll be interesting to see what'll happen, because what I think could happen is, well, Purdy is much more moldable than Jimmy G or Trey Lance, right? And so I wouldn't be surprised if they do stick
Why
with
is
him.
he more moldable than Trey Lance?
Like, I believe that they would see him as more moldable.
But in what sense? Like,
I
I only laughed because of his face.
I'm just listening.
I'm more. I don't know that I have that I can explain.
And you think Purdy is more that than Lance?
I think he could be seen as more like that. I'm not saying that he is. I'm saying that I wouldn't be surprised if the 49ers saw that as an opportunity to be able to mold him into the quarterback that they want or need for the team.
And you don't think they could be able to trade Lance?
I'm not saying that I don't think they could. I'm not saying that that's what I
You
think.
think
I'm
Brock
saying,
Purdy is more
I'm
moldable
saying,
than...
I'm saying that I wouldn't be surprised if the 49ers saw that.
Right.
I'm not saying that's what I think is going to happen.
So you think that the 49ers think that Brock Purdy is
No.
more moldable than
No.
Trey Lance?
I said I wouldn't be surprised if that's. I'm not saying that's what I think is happening. I'm not saying that's what I think the
So
49ers.
you think that it is possible?
Yes, I
That
think
the
there's a
49ers
possibility.
Look at Brock Purdy as more moldable.
Than Trey Lance,
Trey
yes.
Lance.
I think it's a possibility. I don't think that that's what they're doing. I don't.
what are you doing?
I'm just trying to understand what you're saying.
But
Because look,
for why though?
because
Because it sounds like
Why-
you're gonna come back with something and then you
they-
don't do
no,
it.
because they drafted a guy. They drafted Trey Lance 3rd overall.
Yeah.
They traded up to get him.
I understand that, but teams.
So
Again,
what
that's
they
why
don't
I'm
think
saying.
he's moldable. He's
That's what I'm.
faster,
That's
he's
what.
younger.
So again,
You know what I'm
not
saying?
saying that's what I think that they're going to do. Whether they go with Trey Lance or Brock Purdy, neither option would surprise me. Because yes, to your point, he was a 3rd round draft pick. They traded up for him. I can see why they would stick with Trey Lance. I can see that as a possibility, but I can see, like, for me, it's a coin flip right now. I do think it also depends on what happens postseason, if they make it to the Super Bowl, if they win the
Diego,
Super
you're
Bowl.
not answering the question. Why is he more moldable? What is
Again,
hang on.
That question has come and gone.
No,
I
it
don't-
hasn't.
Yes, it is, because I answered the question already. I don't know that I can explain why I think the words to be able to explain why I feel
can
like
see-
they can see
I
him
can
being
see
more
what you're
moldable
saying.
aren't coming to my head. So I'm not being able to explain it. Not that I
I
don't
can
know
see-
why. I'm just saying for whatever reason, you guys are part of the reasons you guys are pissing me off. So I'm all frustrated in my head. So I'm not like
We're
the words.
flustering the dude. No, listen.
Yes, you are.
No,
It is,
hang on,
and it's
but
fine.
no,
But the
I
words
could-
as to why I feel like he could be seen as more moldable aren't coming to my head. So that's
I
what
could
I'm
get
saying.
what
I'm
you're
not saying
saying.
I don't know why.
I can
Saying
get what you're
don't know
saying
that I
if
can
we were
explain
talking
why.
about a veteran.
So what I'm
versus a
saying is,
rookie.
what I'm trying to say is
Right?
that there are upsides to both choices, and I don't think it's as simple as
What are the
he.
upsides to both?
I don't think it's as simple as just because Trey Lance was a 3rd pick overall, that doesn't guarantee that he's going to be the choice.
That is fact.
Because there are
Johnny
plenty
Manziel.
of other options, or there's plenty of other situations where stuff like that has happened.
Johnny Manziel.
Jared Goff, he was a
only
1st round pick and he had
facts.
all the money. They still traded him away.
Yeah, but he was at the Rams for a bit.
I know he was.
He was at the Rams longer than Trey Lance.
I know that. But
I'm
what I'm
just
saying
saying you
is it's not
can't-
cut and dry. Just because he was a 3rd round pick does not guarantee
Third pick,
that he's going to be
the problem
the
is
3rd
this.
pick. Yes.
I'm just saying you have to. The organization looks stupid if they don't give the dude a shot.
But if he does end up becoming the next Brady, they look like the smartest organization in the world. Right? That's
It is. Here's the
Yeah,
thing.
but-
It is all going to depend
I
on what
just
he does
hate-
in the next coming games. But here's the thing.
It's been one game.
Again, I can
Correct.
see what you. But that's why I said it's a different situation
He
because they
threw for
were
180 yards.
Because this is the thing.
He's not the reason they beat the Buccaneers, by the way. Let me say that.
I agree, but he's not the reason they lost, and he did
Because they
he
didn't
put,
lose.
But he wasn't. He wasn't not the
he
reason.
put
They
in
held
the
Tom
work.
Brady to
He was a
7
part of
points.
the. He
I
was
know,
a big
but
part
again,
of the
and
reason.
again, if you listen to his interview after, he says, "I had to go and score. I had to."
You don't think Baker could have did what he did? Yes.
No, I don't think Baker on that team. But hang on.
I'm just saying.
Here's
he threw
the thing.
For 180
The
yards.
difference in the situation is that when Trey Lance got hurt and Jimmy G came in, what happened? Jimmy G came in and was playing pretty good.
They improved.
And so everybody was like, "Oh, well, Jimmy G just got his spot back. This is now Jimmy G's team again." For the time being, for the foreseeable future, this is Jimmy G's team. Right? Fine. That wasn't the case with Bailey Zappi and Mac Jones, and that wasn't the case with Cooper Rush and Dak. Everyone was like, "No, Dak is still the guy. Dak is still the guy. Mac is still the guy." Like, that's that. But they have been on a quarterback like hunting thing for forever. Like Trey Lance could have started last year, but they didn't because Jimmy G was there. Give him a year. So Trey Lance started, wasn't playing great. Jimmy G came in, improvement. And so far, it's been an improvement again. So it's a different thing. But we do have to give him a couple games. But to your point, I could see what you're saying if it was a veteran versus a rookie. That would make sense to me. Trey Lance is a veteran version. Oh no, okay. Trey Lance is essentially a rookie. Like he didn't play last year because they didn't want him to. So I think right now, if it was me, if I'm either one of those guys, I'm like, I'm just gonna do whatever they want me to do. I'm gonna do because that's gonna give me the best chance of being the starting quarterback. Like obviously, I'm gonna play my game. And Trey Lance, like you said, Trey Lance is probably more athletic, faster. A different style quarterback. He's like the style of like the new style of quarterback. And Brock Purdy doesn't seem to be like that. He seems to be more like kind of like a pocket guy, more so like a Mac Jones type player, like a Tom Brady type player where he's not going to go like run you out of the game, but
I struggle with these, man. Tough. I struggle with these because we talked about Bailey Zappi.
Yeah.
We talked about Cooper Rush. We talked about, and it's like, dude, these guys come in, they throw for 180 yards, and they get the win. And everyone's like, "Are we doing this? Are we benching Dak?"
But that's what I'm saying. We're talking Dak versus
Bowler.
Jimmy G. Like,
I understand. No,
two totally different comparisons.
I'm just saying, like, let's just.
My point is you're not going to bench Dak. You're not going to bench.
But you
Mac
could have
Jones,
said the same thing.
But we already had those conversations.
But you could have said the same thing about Kenny Pickett and Mitch Trubisky. And Kenny Pickett is the one they go with, right?
No, Mitch
that's also
trash.
So, but that's the point.
Mitch Trubisky's on his second
now, Jimmy
team, and he's already labeled as washed.
Jimmy G isn't on the same level as Mitch Trubisky. That's not what I'm saying.
No, but Trey Lance, he hasn't shown anything.
Exactly. So
I don't
what's
think Trey Lance is super good, but I'm saying you're gonna see that through.
I think
you're gonna see that through.
I could very, very easily see them, depending on what happens in the next couple of games. I could see them just saying, I'm not going to see that.
The Niners are good. They went to the Super Bowl. Then the last year they went and they had
with Jimmy G and then go for somebody else, right?
Right, but last year they were a freaking dropped interception away from going to Super Bowl again.
With Jimmy G again. Not so but yes, I think should Brock Purdy be the one they pick? No, I don't think so.
Maybe, but
in the sense of you need to give Trey Lance a shot.
I don't think he will because it shows that the organization didn't know what they're talking about by drafting this dude 3rd overall when they could have took Justin Fields. When they could have,
you can say the same thing about Zach Wilson.
That could happen to anybody.
You look at the combine.
Guys, I know that could happen to anybody. That doesn't change the fact that they're going to do that. But it's different.
Why?
Baker played for the Browns for 5 years.
Okay, Johnny Manziel.
Johnny Manziel was addicted to drugs. It's different.
But did we not know that before he was in the NFL?
Yeah, it was a stupid pick. He was also the end of the first round. Johnny Manziel was like the 22nd pick, 24th pick.
Okay, my point is that have there not been players who have been busts and then it's just like, no, but it is what it is. We'll trade him, get some guys for him.
Trey Lance is hurt. He's been hurt.
Right.
He's been hurt. You got it. You got to go with the dude.
No, you don't.
You don't.
That's it.
Yes, you do.
No, you don't. Not if he's gonna.
Not
if you're not gonna win. Not if you're not gonna win.
One organization that drafted a dude top 3 and didn't let that guy start a season. You can't name one. Even the Raiders did it with Jamarcus Russell.
But
And after a year, he gained a bunch of weight. And like, bro, this guy's trash. That's fine. Trey Lance, he's super fast.
We're not
has a
saying
big
that.
arm.
We're not even saying Trey Lance is trash. But if
It's
Brock
not that
Purdy
cut
and
and dry.
Trey Lance
I don't-
are on equal levels, but Brock Purdy's winning more games, or he's winning right now, I'm absolutely saying and there's no reason not to, because the difference between with Dak and with Mac is we saw Mac Jones go to the Pro Bowl. We know Dak Prescott is good.
Why did we have those conversations then?
Because that was what was the conversation at that point.
But my whole point is like, dude, I'm telling you guys, NFL teams, Trevor Lawrence threw a ton of interceptions last year. The Jaguars sucked. And what they
but who's
they
their
stuck with them.
backup though?
on paper, an organization
Gardner
should
Minshew
not do
was
that.
really good. Gardner Minshew was killing it when he first came in.
Ty, you're missing the point.
No, I'm not.
NFL teams,
The Bears had Nick
they
Foles,
need to
and
win.
What did they do?
Period.
They went with
They
Justin
want to
Fields.
win.
No,
Yes.
that's part of it. That's
If
part
I
of
go
it.
to the Super Bowl,
No,
I'm
dude,
getting paid
an
way more
organization
money.
Gets fired if you draft a dude that quick or that high, and you don't see that through.
Not if Brock Purdy takes them to the Super Bowl.
Yes, if they win the Super Bowl.
I just don't think it's
Jimmy
win
G
or,
already
no,
took
or
them
nothing.
to the Super Bowl, and it didn't matter. They still went and drafted Trey Lance. What does that tell you?
And then sat him for a year.
It doesn't matter, dude. That's what the Chiefs sat Mahomes. for a
So
whole
what?
So
year.
you
Okay,
don't-
so what's stopping them from saying, okay, Brock Purdy, let's just say next year he was the guy that they drafted. Like, what's stopping them from doing the same thing
But he's
now with
not.
Brock Purdy?
He's
Because
not.
they did it with Jimmy G and Trey Lance. So now Trey Lance and Brock Purdy. Now we're going
Jimmy
to replace
G
him again.
Led them to a Super Bowl.
They kept him on the team and paid him
Jimmy
money.
G led them to a Super Bowl, and they drafted a dude third. What does that tell you? Jimmy G ain't the guy.
Oh, he's also getting old.
Guys,
Jimmy G isn't a young
I can't
quarterback.
believe we're talking about
We
that.
know he's not the guy. We don't know that Trey Lance is.
Right, so you got to see that through. If you draft a
No,
dude third,
not if you have
yes,
a guy
you do.
that's the guy now.
No, you have to see that through. If you draft a dude
So
third,
you
have
don't
to
see.
see
You
that
don't
through.
see.
Because
There is
what-
no
because
possibility
we
in your
don't
mind
know
that the
the
owner.
possibility is if they win
There's
the
no
Super Bowl with Brock
possibility in your
Purdy.
mind that the owner could come down and say, "Look, I want to see what he can do. Start him next season."
Sure, that's always possible.
Only if he wins the Super Bowl.
No, I'm saying, dude, the Niners have such a good team in a really crappy division. They're going to go to the playoffs. They held Tom Brady to 7 points, and it was in garbage time. The Niners are a legit team. Just because the Niners beat the 500 struggling Tampa Bay Buccaneers doesn't mean Brock Purdy is the second coming of Christ.
No
dude.
one is saying that.
My whole point is this. Jimmy G took the 49ers to the Super Bowl. If that's all we're expecting of Brock Purdy, the NFC is not very strong this year. Right? If they get to the Super Bowl, cool. If Brock Purdy wins because he freaking throws for 300 yards, like, yeah, let's I don't care. My point is the organization looks stupid if you don't give a dude at least a season and say, you're the starting quarterback. We drafted you third overall.
Okay, so where's the cutoff then? We drafted you
He
when?
started
no, hang
2
on,
games.
hang on. Where's
Let
the
him start
cutoff
next
for
season.
Where's the cutoff for like I drafted you here, so you are our guy? Period. Where's the cutoff for that? Like a first round quarterback, you got to stick with him. You got to ride him.
I think if you draft a quarterback in the first round, they deserve a year,
Okay.
more or
So,
less. Now,
then-
obviously, if you're 0-10, like, okay, this guy sucks.
So explain Green Bay
Well, they have
because
Rodgers.
Jordan. Yeah, I know.
They have a Hall
but
of Famer.
Still,
No, dude, you're comparing an apple to a freaking orange.
all of these
They have a
are.
Hall
That's
of
a,
Famer
this
that's old.
situation
They're
is
just waiting for
is own thing.
No, it's way different.
This situation with Brock Purdy is different than any of the other ones that we've talked about.
Yes.
Right. So Brock Purdy absolutely could be the guy without
I
giving
didn't
Trey
say-
Lance another shot on this team until
He could
they
be.
need him, and he could be the backup.
And maybe he'd deserve it. I'm saying the organization wouldn't do that.
If
But
they're
here's
going
the
to win,
thing,
then they
I
would.
don't- Like, I get what you're saying when you say the organization could look stupid.
They wouldn't
They
do
can
that.
look. But either decision could look like a stupid decision. Either decision could look like the best decision that the organization has ever made in their entire existence.
Right.
So then Trey Lance starts next year and is horrible.
Then
Now
great.
they look stupid.
Yeah. Now put in Brock Purdy. You have Brock Purdy.
But he doesn't want to be there anymore, and he
Yeah,
gets
I
traded.
doubt it. I doubt that Brock Purdy would feel that way.
Right, but I'm just saying, like,
Aaron Rodgers waited behind Brett Favre. Jordan Love's waiting behind.
But Trey Lance isn't Brett Favre.
Patrick Mahomes.
yeah, you just said the same thing about Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love.
Trey
Lance is not Brett Favre.
I'm not saying. I didn't say he was.
So why does Brock Purdy need to sit behind Trey Lance? Maybe Trey Lance needs to sit behind Brock
third
Purdy.
overall.
Maybe that was the mistake.
Could you imagine drafting Zion Williamson? He's hurt for a year, and you go, "We're going to get this different power forward who's going to play over Zion Williamson."
If he was better, then no. Why wouldn't you? If he's better,
Dude, I'm telling you, I will bet you $1 million freaking dollars that Trey Lance is a starting quarterback next year. I'll bet.
And what I'm saying is, I wouldn't be surprised either way.
I'm saying you got to see that through, dude.
unless
you
But
trade.
you don't. That's
Yes,
the thing,
you
though.
do.
You don't,
When you trade up for a dude, and you put all your chips in his basket, and because if you let him play and he sucks, the organization says, "Yo, Trey Lance was a bust." That's how they look at it, and you move on.
and you traded up for him, and you drafted him third.
Yeah,
When you
got to let that dude. You got to give that dude a fair shake. Brock Purdy shouldn't have more starts than him.
yes, they should give him a fair shake. But
Dude, what makes no sense about this whole argument is I, specifically with you, was talking about Bailey Zappi and Cooper Rush. They should not be the starters.
I agree.
And you're like,
I'm
I
not
don't
sa-
know.
Dak-
Tom Brady.
and Mac are two different quarterbacks than Jimmy G or Trey Lance.
I understand that.
That's the difference.
I'm saying, how could you
The
sit
San
there-
Francisco 49ers, there hasn't been one game where they've been set on who their starting quarterback is for the next game. Every game has been it's been a week by week
Trey
thing.
Lance started the season, he got hurt.
Yes.
So, yeah, he's
But
their
he
guy.
also wasn't playing
They had
very
all three
good.
of those dudes on the roster, and they picked Trey Lance. When they
Yes.
were all healthy, they picked Trey Lance.
Correct.
So what
And
are you
then
talking
and
about?
then he wasn't playing very good. So the conversations had already started at that point.
Justin Fields sucked at the beginning, and he's been balling.
Yes, but who's his backup though?
Nick Foles.
Who's
Who's accomplished-
tried and
He's a Super Bowl MVP,
he
Miguel.
still sucks.
Who cares? He's accomplished more than Brock Purdy. What are you talking about? No, you can't sit there and say, like, oh, Brock Purdy, it's one game. It's one freaking game.
I
And you-
personally,
you
I don't
think
know.
that
I don't know. I can't
Nick
speak
Foles
for him.
won a Super
I
Bowl.
personally am not
against
saying that
Tom
I
Brady.
believe.
Yeah, but
I'm not
Carson
s-
Wentz got them there.
Oh, my.
I'm not
Jimmy
saying.
G's
If
gotten him
Carson
here.
Wentz doesn't get hurt, he's the MVP of the season.
Jimmy G's gotten him here.
No,
Yes, he has.
no.
Who has them?
Their whole defense has gotten them here.
then-
That's you.
So then why are
saying
you
that.
going to credit Brock Purdy?
I'm not.
No,
So
listen.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about the
Who
fact
should be
that
the starting quarterback?
I'm
Trey
talking.
Lance.
Not that he's the
Trey
one
Lance.
reason that they won that
Trey
game.
Lance.
I'm talking.
Do you
Listen.
think Trey Lance would have won that game? Still? Because if I'm not mistaken, I don't think Brock Purdy had a turnover.
He'd have to score more than 7 points. I think he could do that.
Listen,
Yeah, I think he could do that.
I have not once in this whole argument, 30 minutes, have not once said that I think that he should be the starter. What I am saying is I would not be surprised if the 49ers picked him to start next season, depending on how the rest of the season
Right.
goes out. I'm not saying that I
I'm
think he
talking
should
about
be.
right now.
So,
I'm talking about right now. I'm not talking about ifs and buts and if he did
correct,
great.
but you're trying to say
if
that
he wins
you're
out,
trying to
sure,
say that
dude,
it's
be
a
the
different
starter.
argument than Bailey Zappi and Cooper Rush. No, I'm not saying that I think that they should start. I do agree with you that they should stick it out with Trey Lance. But what I'm also saying is it wouldn't surprise me if they stuck with Brock Purdy for whatever reason. And I wouldn't be mad about it.
Name for puns.
It's pretty good.
Guys,
I wouldn't be mad about it.
You guys are suckers for the backup.
No.
Yes, you are.
I'm not saying that I think. You keep talking as if I'm saying that I think that he should be the starter. I'm not saying that.
You're
I'm
saying
not
you
saying-
wouldn't be surprised. You're saying he should.
No,
if he wins.
Yeah, I'm saying we obviously have to see, but he's
So I don't understand. Like, you can't. It's not even something you could debate. Then it's too early to debate it. If it's all about, well, we'll see. The dude threw for 180 yards.
We won't know until next season or until
Mike
off-season.
White has played better with the Jets than Brock Purdy has with the Niners.